Yeah, I'm a product of my environment. I'm a product of very hardworking parents who had their own set of challenges. I'm a product of a man who had strong work ethic. He was a preacher, still a preacher, and a product of systems, Christian law, everything that we all went through growing up. I did my best to operate within the bounds of those systems, whether it's going to church, reading my Bible, being a law abiding citizen, going to school, working hard, obtaining a career, and getting married, taking care of my family. Like I'm abiding and staying within those bounds of the law. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. But these systems that we were supposed to abide and stay within have failed me. They've failed me repeatedly. The people that I counted on to be moral authority, my father, other preachers, they failed me repeatedly. And so now I must stop and ask questions, just like any rational human being will do. You're going to have to ask questions and challenge everything that we've been taught to believe and we've been made to accept as truth. We have to challenge those things. I have to now look within and start to seek my own answers. Thank God that we have AI, so I don't have to read a lot of stuff. I can just synthesize and summarize and gather information. But I'm now coming into a lot of other information that's making me wonder, what if all these systems were just created as a power play? They were all just created to keep us under, control, a firm grip of control. Now, as I share these thoughts, these are not coming from a place of rebellion or malice. They're coming from a genuine place of critical thought and scientific query. I just want to know, what the hell are we doing here? What is the purpose? What is the meaning of life? Why are these systems failing us? Why is it that my 401k is not going to protect me when I get old? Why is it that regardless of how much work I and loyalty I give to a hospital or corporation that I work for, they don't care. They won't raise my wage. They'll get rid of me at will. The human resources department is not there to protect me. Why is it that the moral authorities that are in my life who claim to have divine authority, fail at basic leadership? The ability to bring love my father, but they're just these flaws, and I see them in myself. So if I see them in myself, that means he has them, but he never owns up to them or never even talks about them. So now the question is, how do we proceed? Yesterday, the algorithm on YouTube brought me Baruch Spinoza. Never heard of this guy before, but apparently Spinoza has existed several hundreds of years ago. He's a Jewish guy who bucked the authority. He grew up in a system where, in a religious system where he was taught things, and the more he started to speak up and ask questions, he got banished. He found himself losing everything and isolated. See, he wrote a lot, and his writings transcend time, and they have found me. And as I read this stuff, things start to make sense. I'm still asking questions, I'm challenging things. Maybe religion, all forms of religion, were designed as political power play. How else can you control the minds of millions of people across generations, across geographical locations? The God of the Bible, which I was raised in, there's no way you don't read the Bible and you don't have genuine questions. But these questions were taught to not ask. We're taught to just believe and have faith, because when you doubt, it's sinful to doubt. And so, and then the same pattern replicates itself across religion. Doesn't matter the religion. And then when you look into the political system, it's the same pattern. It's like a copy and paste. There are these middle powers that we can't challenge them. They don't represent us, or they trickle down benefits to us, and where their authority is coercive. It's under the threat of violence. But yet, I know that I have individual agency. I have the ability of critical thought. And yet, everything around me, whether it's the education system, the government system, the religion, my work environment, continues to remind me that I'm some form of slave, and I'm not. And they don't owe me anything. They're not loyal to. They don't have to hold their own side of the bargain. I just have to toil and give and give and give and get nothing, or just get handouts. And I think that the world is starting to wake up to this reality and understand, well, these things are not, it can't be true. It can't be what we think they are. And I don't think that the solution or the result of that thought is rebellion. I think that the result of that thought is to go inward and find and understand that the God is within me. God is within me. It's never separated from. God is in my DNA. I don't need to go through any moral authority to get to God. And when I need to tap into source, I just look to nature. I look to create. I look to give back to nature, to give back to people, and that's how I come closer. So I want to leave you with a word to challenge everything that you know to be true. We're watching in real time as all the pillars that we held as true fall apart in real time. Whether it's the institution of marriage, we're finding out that it's corrupted. It's meant to keep you without agency or not empower the people involved in it. It introduces a foreign party within to that sows a seed of discord between husband and wife. Matter of fact, it incentivizes our wives to leave us. Whether it's religion that tells you that you have to serve a being that you can't question, you can't, that you're under the threat of punishment if you have any doubt or if you sin. Even the concept of good and evil is clearly subjective because some people, let's say for instance, the state has the authority to create or to kill at will. Do you understand? Like the state can kill at will and release insane amount of violence on innocent people. Yet regular people can't do the same. They get locked up for the same act. Okay? Then there's also the idea that you're reading the Bible and it's an all forgiving God and all knowing God, a God that exists everywhere. And yet this God behaves like a fickle being, like someone who's just jealous and has emotions and is violent. It's like, what kind of it doesn't seem real, so you just have to like challenge everything. That's what I feel. I think we have to come to a point where you look at it for what it really is. The God is in you. God is in me. And I think that we have the instincts. We have that natural innate instinct within us to meet other humans and meet nature and meet the universe with that God love and that righteousness that's already within us. We don't need middle authority to grant us that permission. We don't. I just don't think we don't. We do. So, okay, even when it comes to the ability to earn money, we're taught to pursue these numbers and these tokens of measurement that measure achievement. And yet, the same people who are in authority, they can print this money at will. They can do whatever they want at will with it at will. They they corner it. They give it to like a very like small section of population, like 1 to 2% of population control the vast majority of capacity and resources and capital, and yet the rest of us are just supposed to sit here and just, I don't know, like worship them and just feel can like serve them, and then they wonder why socialism is starting to rear its head and people like the mayor candidate in New York is gaining traction. Well, what do you expect when you deny an entire generation? Young people don't even have anything to look forward to. I've worked multiple decades in this system and I have nothing to look forward to. And regardless of what you do, they just want you to keep giving them more and more and more of your time and your energy and life force until you collapse. We're watching our elderly die without anything, don't have, in their latter years when they're supposed to be enjoying life, they're all signing up to go back to work because their retirement can't pay for their bills. What kind of system is this? What kind of useless system is this? And and then they tell you, oh, well, there's a declining birth rate. We all need to start having families and having children, and then refuse to incentivize said family. And the ones who have family, they make two people raise children. I remember when it used to be to raise the children, it takes a village. You need extended family, you needed friends, you needed a community. They systematically like squeezed that out of our communities. Like there's no community. Everyone's overworked, overstressed, and you have to pay for all these basic services. In order for parents to go to work, required, you need two incomes to survive. You have to outsource raising your kids. And then when you outsource raising your kids, they fill their heads up with ideologies that are different from yours. So if you are a critical thinker or someone who's got the ability to have agency and don't just buy into whatever, if you have scientific ideas and you want to know the truth, or at least you're maximally truth seeking, you have to challenge everything. And again, it's not from a place of rebellion, it's not from a place of breaking the law, it's from a place of going inwards and trusting that you have everything that you need to meet your maximal potential the way God created you to be. I believe it. I believe that I have what it takes. And this idea that I have to be a perfect person is false. When you go through school, you're graded A, B, C, and if you don't meet those grades, then you're summarily useless, or there's no nuance. There are no alternatives for people to, or for kids to thrive and find self agency or self sustenance. There's only these cookie cutter systems, and we wonder why the system is failing a lot of us. We're not trained. We're not taught how to live off the land, build, create, survival skills. We're not taught any of that. Just taught to be a bubble, multiple choice questions, and obey a system. I think that you can teach people to cooperate, because the way systems progress, or the way a people or population progress, is through cooperation, not competition. This system that fosters, that pits us against each other, whether we're white or black, citizen or immigrant, or gender, male or female, like this thing that keeps us competing with each other, it's not the way it was designed to be. You know what I'm saying? So I personally think that you have to challenge everything and find your own answers. Seek your own answers. Seek discomfort, because in discomfort you find growth. Yeah, so I think that there was a reason for me to come in contact with this author and this individual from history, Spinoza, Baruch Spinoza. I'm reading his stuff. It's on YouTube, and yeah, y'all can go through that journey. This is just a journey that we're on. It's a grand adventure. There's no destination. We eventually die. So at least while we're here, we can max out what we're capable of doing. We can max out our days. I'm done casting judgment on people and their choices. As long as you're not you don't pose a risk to self-harm or harm to other people, as long as you're cooperative with everybody else, I don't think we should be casting judgment on people and their choices. You do whatever you want. These rules that we have, that human beings claim and they hold on to and they wield it against other people, those are just power plays. Whether it's religion or political, it doesn't matter. Those are just power plays. When it's been done across time, and they're going to keep doing it. But you, as an individual created by God in His image, must separate yourself from it and just go, you know what? I'm done. This system is not serving me. I'm going to find myself. I'm going to take myself through a journey of self discovery where I invest time in things that give me power, not things that take power away from me. And that can present itself in different things, whether it doesn't have to be grand. It can be like minimal acts of service and kind of to other people. It can be gardening. It can be creating music, creating content, teaching others, cooperation, tit for tat. Stay nice, be forgiving, but don't be a pushover. First, start off by extending a hand of cooperation and hope that it's reciprocated. And if it's not, don't be a pushover. Stand your ground, but be forgiving as well. We need to cooperate. There's no way we move forward as a society when we constantly keep fighting each other over things that don't even matter. And yet the people in charge, they probably just sit back and watch us like, look at these idiots arguing over man and woman, which one is better, who has more strength than the others and better. Like it doesn't matter, yo. There's a market here. I'm gonna go to this market. Freedom Farmers Market at the Carter Center year round. Saturday morning, I'm hoping that you're making the best out of today, and you look for ways to contribute to your environment positively, and not ways that you can take. Stop exploiting the system. Add value, and not just foolishly accept rules. Ask yourself, how does this serve me? Does this take power away from me, or does it give me power? If it takes power away from you, I don't think you need to follow it. I think you need to find what works for you without being a rebel or being destructive.